All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Hajime no Ippo, Season 3, Episode 18. All right. We had the Dingus Idiots fights, and they were lovely. They were a joy. They were such a surprise to see.
That is very generous of you.
Yes.
I feel like the bar has been sort of set as far as Dingus fights go because of Aoki's previous fight. You know,
right?
That because that was the
fight before last episode.
Right, exactly. That was like the perfect balance of goobery, goofy, and also serious at the same time. But
now we're going into Miyata's fight.
We're going into Miyata's fight, and Miyata's fights are not goobery. They're anything but.
They get everything thrown on the line, and things get really dicey and close because he plays in a very dangerous game, and. Given that he might not be, fully up to the challenge here, this could be a fight that brings him to the brink with regards to what he's capable of. So are we going to see something new from Miyata and potentially give Ippo a little bit of a taste of, this is what it's like to, see Miyata boxing?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm all for that.
Me too. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. Wow.
Okay.
All right, guys, this was a very surprisingly good, just compact little fight story. We have the new guy here, Medgoen Dutch Boy, which sounds more like a nickname really than a
stage name or something.
Than his true name, but. His father's love, just trying to take care of his daughter, and this coach Sakaguchi, the one that trained Arnie, who went up against Miyata back in the day, trying to use him just to study Miyata. That's so gross.
I love the development for this as far as Ippo as a show, because one of the things that I've been kind of wondering about is how do we get the ever-evolving world of boxing, right?
Oh, sure.
Because we have things like, the world
stage.
Yeah, the world stage. Takamura is going up through the weight classes and things like that. And yes, eventually, probably, 300 episodes down the line, if those were to actually get made, Ippo would probably face
Miyata.
I was going to say Ricardo Martinez. Sure.
I would say it's way further even down from there.
Even more than 300 episodes.
Oh yeah. Because how many chapters are there in Hajime no Ippo? Like 1,200, 1,300? Yeah.
Right. So it's the, but it can go in those kinds of directions. But as far as the outside of the context of opponents and matches, that kind of development, I always am curious to see, right?
Yeah.
The gears behind the scenes of how all this works.
Totally.
And the idea of a coach that gets royally pissed off at somebody and then gets a personal vendetta where they're not even wanting to actually have their boxers win the match.
No.
They just want to get information on this specific boxer so they can take him down. Yeah. I am excited for that, right?
Yeah.
Because it
makes the world feel bigger.
It makes the world feel bigger. It's a total justice button push with what he's doing to this guy and using his dying daughter as leverage and and everything.
Yeah.
It's like it's all kinds of messed up, right?
Yeah.
But that's something where then it's also something where I believe that would happen.
Oh yeah.
Right? I absolutely believe that would happen because when there's so much ego wrapped up in boxing, right? For the boxers, for one, because they're the baddest men on the planet, and they're going to prove their badassery over another person. But also for the coaches, because if they're making these badass people and stuff like that, they're shaping them and setting them up with the matches. And
it's my reputation.
Exactly.
I made him into who he is.
Right. Like that
twisted bad father-son relationship.
Yeah, and that would be huge, and that's something that can go past the one match.
Totally.
Because while we can have things like Sendo and Ippo, and it's the let's eventually we're going to fight for the third time, right?
Right. These are bulls that keep just charging, and eventually boom, hit each other again, and then they.
This is something where the same conflict can be continued.
Yes.
Outside of just the realm of a single match, right?
So outside the ring, meaning that the fight of boxing is not contained within this for people that are doing this with like the politics side of things, or maybe the not the politics side of things, but like the reputation side of things. So
exactly.
This coach,
the schmoozing and the
Right. This coach probably is in the dumps a little bit with regards to his reputation because of the Arnie stuff. And he's like, okay, since I'm already down here, I don't care if I lose a little bit more of my reputation when I send this guy in with a really weird strategy. Now, to be fair, his strategy worked in nullifying the counter for that period of rounds. And I think he went like a full 5 rounds with...
He went a while,
no fighting back, which is impressive.
Yep.
But what he's probably thinking of is like, okay, eventually I'm going to put a boxer up against Miyata that will not only have a strategy that will beat his counter, but I'll know about his weaknesses that he displayed here so that I can eventually get my reputation back. And it's like, it'll be even better of a story. Like, I trained a boxer specifically to beat this guy.
Right,
you know?
especially since Miyata is ranked so high right now.
Right.
And one of the other things that this brings up is that, so Miyata's in this odd position in the boxing meta.
Yeah.
In that because he's not the main character, I'm guessing that when Ippo fights him, Ippo's going to win. Now, the way that was kind of dealt with in the past, the way it was kind of dealt with in the past is that Ippo didn't actually get to face him because he went up against Mashiba. Mashiba cheated, and he did stuff that made it so that he was able to win the fight when he shouldn't have. Right?
Yeah.
This here is a setup for that happening again on a bigger scale.
Totally.
Right? Whether that happens after Ippo's match with Miyata or before, who knows? But that's the kind of thing that could theoretically, like, since he's out for Miyata, not just to beat him, but like to probably destroy humiliate him, right, whatever. Yeah. I'm guessing that when this ends up being done, it's probably going to be successful, and it could theoretically take out Miyata
for a while,
ruin his career, right? Like because that's something that could happen, you know. Thankfully, Miyata didn't kill the guy here.
Jeez,
but the turd coach did end up Sakaguchi did end up basically seeing a weakness that he could use.
Right, and that was the thing that Ippo noticed, the father kind of noticed, Miyata himself felt it, and that was that when he went in to set up this counter, it was very stiff.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as it could have been.
Yeah, and I think what they're seeing here is not entirely a weakness. It's a strength that hasn't been honed yet.
Right.
So while it's probably easy to look at it immediately and go, oh, that counter was stiff, what it also was Miyata implemented the strength techniques that Takamura taught him so that he could deliver a bone crushing, a skull shattering,
potentially life threatening punch.
Like the fact that this guy is so tough. And let's actually bring this up here.
Okay,
I think it's because he punched him actually in the face that he's probably going to be okay. Because I'll just tell you.
Oh, like not like the side of the head or something?
If he punched him in the side of the head or if he punched him in the chest. Because I'll bet, depending on how perfect this one was, it's a cross, so it has to go above the arm.
Yeah.
So it might not have been able to hit the chest in any way. But yeah, if he hit anywhere near the side of the head, this guy could be dead here.
Also, something that they brought up is that this guy specifically was incredibly good at being tough, right? So it's okay, you know, this boy was probably born with a very thick skull, right? You know, and did some things to keep that strong and stuff, and it probably served him very well in boxing, right?
Sure. But it could also just be mental toughness as well, you know.
But there were a few things that didn't really happen in this match. One, okay, yes, he did get the first counter and he got up from that, right? So maybe that could be a reason of why the punch ended up being so devastating, but he hadn't really taken hits to the face before then. So he really basically got hit in the face twice, and
he got countered 6 times in a row.
Okay, oh no, that's right. Yeah.
So no, if anything, it felt like what this guy was saying was that his body was ridiculously tough, and he was saying that if he hit his head and blacked out, that was the only way Miyata was going to beat him. That's why when he had his guard up in peekaboo style,
that is
and
a good
let
point.
him get the body punches in for the jabs, he was like, I don't care.
Yeah, I can take those.
And Sakaguchi was basically saying, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay, so that is a great point, because what I was worried about is wait a minute, if this guy is super tough, what would this punch do to someone who for whom fortitude and stamina and all that stuff wasn't one of their strong suits, right? You know, it's like that could theoretically, like this felt like awful foreshadowing for if Miyata uses this on someone again.
It's more Miyata's style.
Right, and he's honed it more because this is the imperfect counter,
Yes.
So, yeah, but thankfully, and yes, there were all those other counters before then, and it goes to show a lot for this guy's resolve and toughness and everything that he was able to take them like that.
To be fair, those counters were not the ones that fully utilized the strength techniques from Takamura.
Yes.
They were Miyata's original counters, and they were also not cross counters. The cross counter's real strength, I think, is that it could theoretically hit you on the side of the head because it's a cross. It's not a timing straight, basically.
Yeah.
So whenever Miyata utilizes his counters, I believe he's engaging his right. It's not a jab. So it has the strength to stop them dead in their tracks.
That is a good point. The fact that it's not a straight probably helps with as far as the power goes, because then you've got more of like the rotation of the body going into it too.
Right here.
Which is the whole point of the jolt part.
Yeah,
of it.
so him bringing in it from the side, he actually hits him closer to the jaw.
Right.
So that's a knockout punch.
That'll take you out.
That'll take you out. But if it was further back and it was up here a little bit, that's a kill punch right there.
if he was a bit shorter, say like around Ippo's height,
and has to go in closer in order to get these kinds of punches to work.
Now, one of the other things that I really appreciated from this fight is that this was, now granted, he wasn't actually fighting back for a large portion of the fight.
At least 5 rounds.
Right.
Yeah.
But Ippo as a show, like because you've mentioned before that you felt like the match where Ippo got the most lucky with regards to actually winning was Psyche, because he was too fast, right?
Psyche hard countered him,
right? But he managed to get lucky and do the blind hit, and he got him, and then at that point the Gazelle was limping, and then you can take him down, right?
Yep, exactly.
With Miyata, that's one of the things that made it so that whenever I think about fights with of him versus Ippo, that's a part of me that I wonder of like how that's going to be handled, because as we saw here,
he was dancing around
him. There was no chance.
He barely was following him.
Right, and it's a great way to build him up, even though the other guy wasn't fighting much.
Right.
Because the fact that the best strategy that this guy could take was to do nothing.
Yeah, just defend. Yeah.
Right, just defend. Like, now granted, that's what this guy was paying him off to do. Right. But the fact that once he started like actually throwing punches, no chance, he was done.
The thing that's tough to understand here is whether or not the guy would have been able to be faster against Miyata if he had not just turtled the whole time.
And toughness is his forte, as opposed to, say, with Ippo, where offense is his main thing, right?
Yeah. So Ippo is tough, like very much so. But we saw what happened when he went up against someone else that was really tough in the fight where the guy was bringing him underwater.
Yeah.
That was a fight where
his name.
I forget the guy's name too. I think it was. Anyway. The main point is that Ippo has plenty of people out there that can match him in the stamina toughness department.
Right.
But Ippo's punches are in the
and
kill you. Scary high level of power. Yeah.
And that's why, yes, if he lands that one punch on you, like in a similar kind of notion with Miyata here, where even though he blocked the punch that one time, it still like cut his face, Ippo, it's like that'll do a lot more.
Spun him around a little bit.
Yeah, throw him off balance, set him up for more hits.
Yeah. This fight though also was a nice bit of reestablishing the idea that Miyata and Ippo are rivals, and that Miyata is still growing.
Yes.
And while this is the imperfect counter to set up a potential devastating upcoming match where Sakaguchi is still going after him, but he sends the actual assassin this time, that means that Miyata and his fights are going to be ones that we'll be watching more in the future. Which I think in the story structure-wise...
I'm all for that.
Well, yes, but it's also important to have more people to root for, because when Ippo is basically out of commission or in the you need to repair yourself for this next bit of time, he shouldn't be fighting.
Right.
And this story, in general, kind of needs to have, formula-wise, a fight every kind of once in a while, and thus Miyata is a nice kind of secondary protagonist that
Right.
we can follow along with his story.
Miyata, I feel like, is one of the characters in this show where, while the odds are in his favor to win, we don't have any kind of guarantee that he will win.
Exactly.
Whereas in the
not
case,
the protagonist.
he's not the protagonist, right? So Ippo, we had his loss against Date, but
Since then, he's
that's probably going to be the only time he loses, right? Maybe one more. But
I think he'll lose at least one more time.
Yeah, maybe one more time, but it's going to be. But that'll
Once
be
he gets
like
to the world stage,
right. That'll be a special occasion, right?
Very special occasion.
With me, and then on the other hand, with Takamura, no, like that. Not until he's at least like at his regular weight class or like 1 or 2 weight classes down. He's not going to lose at this point, right?
Yeah.
This is the part where he starts,
his rise.
The legend is born of I am the greatest
He
in
really
the world
leans into
ever.
that bear, I am unstoppable.
Right.
The best thing you can do is just to play dead and hope I don't eat you.
Right.
That is literally the only way to fight against a bear.
Give me a fun time before I destroy you, right? Like, and while I'm very much excited for his fight against Eagle, I think Takamura is still gonna end up winning, right? Because he's Takamura, right?
Totally, yeah.
Whereas with Miyata, this is the kind of fight where I think he's going to win, but it's the whole thing of, but there's a chance that he might not, or that the stakes, the way that the cost that he pays in order to win is a bit too high.
We're always rolling the dice with Miyata. It's in his strategy of his boxing as well as just his capabilities as a boxer.
Right.
Ippo has a style that does not work within the technical kind of realms of boxing with regards to his Dempsey role. Miyata is the classic technical boxer.
Right.
Like, he is speed, he counters you, and he punches just in a way that breaks your tempo so that he is always in control of the fight.
Yep.
That is something that means that when the show wants to go even jankier, when the show wants to go into the even more kind of weird styles of things, Miyata is the one that will be the measure test against basically those unique styles of boxing. So someone who is being told to be a sandbag, basically, we see how that is effective in that Miyata couldn't do anything to him in those first 5 rounds, but also it's ineffective because eventually you'll have to then utilize that strength and stamina to fight back.
If you want to have any hope of winning.
And Miyata's like, no, sorry, I am so fast.
Yeah.
I have been training so hard that this wasn't yours to win.
And I love how hopeless it was for Miyata's opponent, right? Because
once he started fighting back.
Yeah, because it added to the emotion of everything. Of why he's here.
And the cuts to the daughter. Yeah, but I think Chana was the younger brother of the guy that Miyata fought back when.
Or that was inspired by Miyata to start boxing or something like that.
But those are the same. I think those are the same people though. The younger brother, I believe, was the one that got inspired then to box, maybe because of Miyata.
I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
It was
that we
a long
got that
time
episode,
ago,
but Chana, that was not the first time we'd seen him. So it's okay, cool. We've got a connection point. But it was very satisfying and horrifying at the same time to just see how hopeless this situation was.
Right. And now we've got our rising god of boxing come to display the strength of the Japanese's epitome of boxing to the Captain America clean athlete.
David Eagle.
Yeah. I really, really am excited for David Eagle's boxing to be so orthodox and so straightforward that Takamura almost goes a little bit animal on him.
Right. I want to see something where basically Takamura goes a bit animal and it doesn't work.
Yeah. Because it's okay, sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say, the connection they made with Brian Hawk and him where he was like, I've always wanted to fight you kind of thing. What if this is it? Takamura kind of is a substitute for Brian Hawk so that he's like, you fight almost like him, so then
that would be really cool. And because I want Takamura to win. I'm convinced that Takamura is going to win. I also want to see him grow. And and because the Hawk fight is I'm the darker version of you. I am the vices and all of that stuff let loose,
Yeah.
And as a result of that, Takamura had to rely on his friends, remember where he came from before, of course, proclaiming to the world how he would spread his seed and whatnot. With David Eagle, what does Takamura have to learn from him?
Right.
Maybe the restraint, maybe the orthodox styles, you know?
Yeah. It could also be regarding the way he just is as an athlete with regards to maturity. One of the things that David Eagle kind of shows to me, once he like left the plane and the reporters were all coming to him and stuff, he's like, no, I'm going straight to the gym. And then he was like talking to the kids, he was being kind and stuff. There's this aspect of him coming to enemy territory where the fans in the stands are all going to be against him, where he could, in the fight, maybe turn them against Takamura with just how like, statuesque and how beautiful his boxing is.
Yeah.
And Takamura being kind of the jeering, leering kind of, you know.
He might not be the crowd favorite.
He might not be the crowd favorite in his own country. And that could be a really cool way where David Eagle catches like second and third wins in the midst of this and keeps going. And they're like, holy shit, like, I was rooting for Takamura for sure, but this guy, how is he still going?
Right.
Like, I want that kind of fight where it's the like, where like Takamura is obviously like better in certain ways, but Eagle just keeps going. And then it's that Takamura's just like, won't you just stay down? And
that'll be a crazy fight. One of the things that I want to bring up, though, from this episode that we got is we also got an accidental challenge from Ippo to Miyata.
That's true, we did.
And I love it because, one, it's totally in character for Ippo that he would, you know, because he doesn't have an inflated view of himself, because his ego is nowhere near the egos of the other people in his standings.
Yeah.
He'll say things and not realize
the implications
of them, right? And of course, all the people are like, the hell are you talking about it? Oh my God, it's Ippo. Yes, we need this fight to happen. That will be so awesome, right? And then, of course, Makunochi, Miyata, Miyata.
Yeah.
Like,
that'll get you fired up.
That'll get you fired up. And they are going to tell stories. Like, those people are not going to let it leave, like, let it just stay at this stadium, right? They are going to tell stories. There's going to be press on this. Like, this is...
Yeah. It would be fun, though, to see the press and all that be like, so, are you going to schedule it? Are you going to make this happen?
Yeah, when
Ippo,
we got this.
Like, Ippo, if you fight... Well, I could see it being a thing where they're like, Ippo, you should fight this guy. Because once you fight this guy... you'll have a nice clear shot to Miyata.
Right, you need to work the way up to Miyata, but but it needs to happen.
Right, but it can be a thing where the fans in the world and the boxing organizations in general are like, we're going to build a story around this, right?
Right, exactly.
We're going to try and like...
do our own Takamura versus Hawk build-up.
Right, exactly. So that we get that, you know, that sweet moolah of the potential of our two glorious Japanese featherweight boxers, you know, going at this here. Even though Miyata has kind of left that kind of organization area, he's boxing within the OPBF, which is larger.
Right, so Ippo needs to start, you know, going into that ocean.
But he's still in recovery, so he's not going to be doing that for a while.
Nope. But when he does, it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. But yeah, so y'all, next week, Hawk versus Eagle. So if you want to see that next episode's reaction discussion right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. Also, be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
Yes, we stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.